Here's what's weird. There's some similarities there. You got the cop, the coffee, the paper guy, the donut shop, the cop looking around. Yes, there might even be there. I think there was another similarity or two in there,
but the time of the year completely different.
Yeah, the time of the year was different. This says you said October. When I saw was not in October.
Now, but it also said there were two people working in the donut shop at the time.
Yeah, the night that I was working by myself.
Yeah.
Hello, and welcome to Modern Explorer, The Interviews. This is Glenn Norberg. Today, I'm going to be interviewing a past employee of what was Daylight Donuts here in Florence, Colorado. He wants to remain anonymous, but his encounter is from the mid-1980s. The same time frame as Rich Miles, Shannon Proud's encounters, and the BFRO report number 3185. His encounter mirrors the BFRO report in many ways, but differs significantly in others. Again, the enigma of the Sasquatch phenomenon reveals itself. So sit back and listen to our next witness as he tells of his encounter. If you enjoy these encounter testimonies, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will be alerted when we post them. As always, if you or anyone you know would like to share an encounter, email us at encounters@modernexplorer.me.
What I saw took place, I'm thinking it was early spring. I want to say maybe April, May.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the year. I'm thinking it was 87.
Okay.
So I was there full time from that time on.
Okay.
Until 89. The end of 89 is when I left to go to Florida. But the night that I saw what I saw it was warm. The night was really warm.
So no snow?
No, there was no snow. No snow.
Okay.
No snow at all. There was no bad weather. I just remember it being very warm, and the kitchen was hot, working in there, and that night I was by myself.
Okay.
So there wasn't anybody with me.
Wow, okay.
There was nobody with me. At that time, there was only one person working, and that was me. But anyways, the night that I saw what I saw,
okay.
It was warm. At that time I smoked, and I didn't smoke in the building because of the food, so I went out front, and it was quiet that night. A car had zipped down Main Street just a few minutes earlier because I heard it, and I kind of went out to see what was going on. So I'm standing out there, and all of a sudden I hear this, what sounds like a tin can being kicked or stepped on, something being crunched, and I kind of looked over towards the car wash. And the way the donut shop set at the time, it set catty corner to the street. You got McCandless here, and you got Main Street here, and then there's the building across the street, and you have the car wash.
Okay, so I'm trying to picture. So right now
the strip mall.
San Juan's is where it, like the Bank of the San Juan's, is that strip mall?
Yes, that was not, obviously that was not there. The building set, the donut shop set. You got McCandless right here at the building set this way.
Okay.
Corner.
Okay.
And then you have the building here from, I don't know, it's still there. It's all fenced in.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then you have the car wash that's right next to that. But there was that fence that butted up against that property right there, and then you had the car wash.
Uh-huh.
And then behind the car wash was the storage units.
Yeah.
Now that's where I saw what I saw. And I only got just probably maybe a 3-second glimpse of something walking between that fence line and the car wash. Now usually the car wash, the lights were off at night, but for some reason that night the bay lights were all on.
Oh, interesting.
So
okay.
I actually got...
Now, has the car wash physically changed since that time, do you think?
I'd have to go look at it, but I don't think it has much. I think now there might be a night light or street lights out there that lights that area behind where the storage units are.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, back then, it was pretty dark back there.
Pretty dark
There wasn't any light. The only light I remember was being from the car wash, the wash base. And there was something walking between the fence line and that bay. I heard that noise, and I look over, and I get a glimpse of this thing. And like I said, it was just a very quick glimpse, 3 to 4 seconds at the most. All I could see was that it was very tall. I really couldn't see hair or fur, but it was very tall. I couldn't see facial
Guesstimate.
features.
Let's go to the height.
Well, according to that, I went back a few nights later, and I looked at that fence. I'm standing out there, and I'm looking at that fence. I'm like, okay, the fence is probably 6 foot tall.
Yeah.
And then there was like some barbed wire above the fence. And its head was above that barbed wire.
Okay.
So you're talking 6, I don't know, maybe what's
Good 7.
barbed wire, 7 feet tall.
7 plus feet tall.
7 plus feet tall. So I'm thinking, okay, what the hell did I see? Was that a guy in an ape suit? Was it?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a bear. Because I got to thinking, when I went back in that night, I was kind of shook. I was like, okay, what did I just see? I'm trying to evaluate it in my own mind. Okay, what did I see? Was it a bear? I've seen bears before. I know how bears walk. They can walk on their back legs for quite a ways.
Mm-hmm.
But they
walk goofy. They
walk with a
waddle.
They walk with a waddle, exactly.
Yeah.
And you got their front legs are out here, not to the side.
Yeah.
And this thing definitely had shoulders. And it
Okay.
was broad at the shoulder.
Yeah.
Because I got a partially decent look at the, probably like from right here up, from
Okay,
the
so
mid
pecs
chest
up.
up.
Okay.
Yeah, from the mid chest up, you could see shoulders. I've never seen shoulders on a bear.
Not really. Yeah. No, it's they don't.
No, because their arms are out in front,
Yeah.
not off to the side.
Yeah.
So I tried to evaluate this in my own mind. I'm trying to think, okay, what did I see? Could it have been a bear? And I tried to talk myself into thinking that it was just a bear. First of all, I didn't do drugs, never done drugs. So I wasn't high. I certainly wasn't drunk. So I had no reason to hallucinate.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay, what did I see? And then I kept thinking, God, that looks like the mystical, or what do you call it, the creature Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Thinking, no way, not in this town. No way, there's no way.
Yeah, exactly,
There's no
in
way.
Florence, yeah.
There's no way. So I tried to talk myself out of it. But then when I read the report that you sent me on the whole donut shop thing, some of that was true, but some of it was somebody took some liberties with that and embellished the hell out of it.
Or it's a different.
Or it's a completely, see, here's what's weird. There was it wasn't but about maybe 45 minutes later, the paper guy used an abandoned building that was next to, there was a ditch, like an irrigation ditch, a concrete irrigation ditch that went between the storage shed, there was the ditch, and then there was an old abandoned building. And I don't even think the building's still there. I think they've demolished the building. But the paper guy would throw his old newspapers in there when he was done in the mornings.
Mm-hmm.
I remember the paper guy, because I remember going back to the window and I'm looking out and I'm looking over there and I'm like, God damn, did I really see? Am I losing my marbles? Am I going crazy? And then all of a sudden I see the paper guy come tearing ass across the parking lot at the...
Riding bike?
Oh, no,
running?
he was in a Jeep.
In a Jeep, okay.
I think it was a Jeep. I don't know, it was an SUV or something. Anyways, he come tearing across the parking lot at the car wash, across the street, and into the donut shop parking lot. I thought he was going to hit the building.
Okay.
I was like, whoa. And then he jumps out. He comes in the donut shop, because I always left the front door. Back then, we left the front door unlocked.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't have to worry about homeless or vagrants or people coming in and robbing us in the middle of the night, which I wouldn't have had anything anyway. They might have got a 3 dozen donuts. Those guys would always come in for coffee, and there was a couple of the Florence PD officers. They would stop in between 1 a.m. and usually 5 a.m. in the mornings. But there was the guy come by that night, and it was after the
One of the
paper guy.
officers.
Yeah, the paper guy. While he was
Okay,
there,
let's pause. Let me back up. Paper guy tears into the parking lot.
he tears into the parking lot and comes in the building. And I was like, "What the hell was that all about?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" And I go, he's all like freaked out. And I was like, "You almost hit the building, man." I said, "What's the deal?" And he's like, "I heard a noise." I go, "Heard a noise?" He goes, "I heard something. Heard something over there." Or he goes, "I heard something over there." And I was like, "Over where?" And he goes, "Over there." And he points towards the car wash.
And this is how long after you saw what you?
Oh, probably. God, if I had to guesstimate, I'd say probably 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
Maybe. It was in
Not
time
immediate,
frame.
but in relative. Okay.
If I had to guess a time frame in the morning, it was after I was done, but I had to wait for the guy to pick up the donuts, deliver the donuts to the convenience store.
Sure.
So I had like a 45-minute wait. So if I had to guesstimate, I would say probably he would show up about 5. So I would guesstimate probably 4 in the morning.
Okay.
That I saw.
Yeah.
And then he came by maybe 4:30. Because he
Okay.
would deliver our paper usually between 4:30 and 5.
Okay. So you have your sighting. Half an hour, 45 minutes later, he tears in,
He freaks out,
freaking
comes
out.
in, and he's like, I heard something over there. And I was like, you heard something over where? And he points. And I'm looking out the window, and I go, over where? And he goes, by the storage shed. He goes, but the building I dumped my papers off in. I go, what'd you hear? And he goes, a loud noise. I was like, okay. What was it, an animal or a person or what? He goes, I don't know. He goes, all I know is it was loud and it scared me. It was freaky and it scared me. That's what he said. It was freaky and it scared me.
Did he say it was like an animal noise or a clunking noise?
You know, he really
Or do
never
you remember?
He really never, if I remember right, he never really did describe the noise.
Okay.
He just said it was a scary noise that freaked him out. It was
Okay.
freaky.
Okay.
And he goes, I got the hell out of there. Well, I could see that he was definitely, he was something wrong with him. He was kind of freaked out. Well, then about, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes later, the Florence PD officer shows up. And they would come in and get a cup of coffee. And we never charged them for coffee, so they got free coffee. So he comes in and he got his coffee and he sets it down on the table. And then him and this guy start talking. And the guy goes, come here, man. He goes, I need to talk to you. So they step outside. I have no idea what was said. I didn't hear it. In fact, I never even thought about it. I went back and was doing what I was doing in the kitchen, and then I came back out, and they were gone. And then I went back to the window in the front, and I looked out, and I could see the cop car driving by the storage unit with the spotlight on.
Okay.
So evidently, this guy had told the cop, I want you to go back there and see if you see anything. Well, I'd seen this guy probably, I don't know, he'd come in every night he was on duty. Always easygoing demeanor, you know. This is Florence in the 80s. The only thing these guys had to deal with was barking dogs in the middle of the night.
yeah,
Or maybe
right.
maybe a skunk. So the crime rate was very low in Florence at that time. So anyways, he goes over there and does whatever he does, and then comes back a few minutes later, and I could tell his demeanor was different. He seemed a little bit agitated. He seemed a little bit tense. Now, here's what's weird. I read that report from that Bigfoot site where the cop slops his coffee all over the place. Well, this guy didn't slop his coffee all over the place. I mean, I could tell he was agitated because I'm like, you all right? He's like, yeah, I'm fine. Why? Just curious. I go, did you see something over there? He's like, no. Why? He was real calm, but his demeanor was different. So I don't know if he saw something, just didn't want to say anything, heard something, just didn't want to say anything, but
Something affected him somehow.
something affected him somehow, some way, because he was different than any other time I'd ever seen him. That's where my involvement ends.
Okay.
I don't know where this Bigfoot story from this website comes from, but see, there's similarities there. The paper guy
Paper guy, a cop.
slopping the coffee, the cop slopping the coffee, just the donut shop in general. So was that another sighting at a later date or an earlier, maybe even an earlier?
Because that
date?
says October, and well, it can be warm in October.
But I worked there in October of '86.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I never saw anything after that. Actually, here's something that's kind of funny too. I saw what I saw prior to the paper guy seeing what he saw or heard what he heard, and I laughed and joked about it. I go, it's not probably just Bigfoot. I said, Bigfoot lives back there by that big smokestack.
Yeah.
And I was just busting his chops. Well, Charlie and I kind of ran with that. We were messing with him. We messed with him for, I don't know, a week or two after that. Seen Bigfoot lately? So I don't know if somebody decided to take some liberties with the story. And
Well, see,
embellish it, or-
I don't know if they. I honestly don't know if that group embellishes or purposely changes details to give, to protect somebody. Maybe it's not a 35-year-old person.
Shit,
Maybe
when I
it's
worked there, I was like 21, 22, 23.
yeah.
When I left there in '89. I would have been 23 that year.
But the time of the year completely different.
Yeah, the time of the year was different. This says, you said October?
Uh-huh.
When I saw what I saw was not in October.
Now, but it also said there were two people working in the donut shop at the time.
Yeah, and the night that I was working by myself.
Yeah.
I worked with, I worked with 2 or 3 different people. They worked there with me. And during the time him and I worked there, we never saw or heard anything weird. I worked with that was and I were the ones that busted the paper guy's chops over the whole Bigfoot thing.
Yeah.
We messed with him for, I don't know, it might have been more than a week or 2. It seemed to me it was. In fact, he stopped coming in after that.
I'm giving enough grief. I'm not
We
going to.
busted his chops for a while. But, then I worked with, I can't remember the guy's name now. There was another guy, but we never saw or heard anything after that.
Wow. Oh, yes. Yeah, it's such a mystery. There's, I mean, whatever's going on. If it's the same thing, somebody changed the details. If it, mush things together, but there's something. You saw something.
I saw something, and to this day, I still don't know exactly what it was.
Could you tell any color?
No, it was too dark.
Just too dark. You just saw
there was just enough ambient light to where I could see a shape.
a shape.
I couldn't see any facial features. I couldn't see anything past probably the mid chest.
Yeah.
Because of the way the light was coming out
Yeah,
from
yeah.
underneath the bays on the car wash. There was just enough light where I could just see like the outline.
Was it coming towards you or
No,
going
it was
away?
walking away. It was
Walking
walking
away.
back towards.
So it was
walking-
heading
It was
south.
heading south, walking past right. It was walking right along that fence line.
Interesting.
Right along
Boy.
that fence.
So Sand Creek Ditch, that's just the runoff ditch.
That's just the runoff ditch. That's the
that
dry
goes
ditch
down
that
to the
goes-
arc,
Yep.
right down the
And
Arkansas.
even that night, I was thinking, I wonder if that thing came through the ditch.
So that's where everything revolved. That's where those people, when he was a kid, he was sitting on the one of those bridges.
Now I did go about probably 2 or 3 days later. I was like, I got curious, and I went during the daytime. I was like, if that thing came from the ditch, there's got to be some footprints. But there was sand,
Yeah. It's just impressions.
and I couldn't see anything in the sand. But I mean, he might have went up against the wall for all I know. And there was weeds that were like
Yeah.
also. And I didn't notice anything. But I walked through that area right there, and I didn't see anything. Then I got kind of freaked out, thinking, okay, what if this damn thing comes? I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out of here. So I left.
Now, I'm going to go different. Have you ever heard of any other odds? I mean, anybody else? Have you ever? Do you remember anybody else going, "Hey, I saw something that you can." That I
Honestly,
can, that
no.
I can dog,
Nope.
hound dog down.
See,
Or,
I never knew Shannon Proud saw anything.
yeah, I except that I was driving down the road. And I pulled over and said, "Hey, Shannon, have you ever? I won't laugh at you if you don't laugh at me. Have you ever?" And that's how I get my things. People say, "Yeah, I saw something," but nobody talks about it. Nobody talks.
Well, I didn't want to talk about it for the longest time because I want people thinking I was crazy.
Yeah.
Really? You're so full of crap. No, I didn't want to go through that.
There you go, another encountered story, this time from my small town of Florence, Colorado. One very local testimony, of at least 4, and more on the way. I would especially like to thank our witness for sharing his account. Following up, documenting, and producing these interviews takes quite a bit of time and legwork. If you like and want more of these, please consider tossing a buck or 2 into the PayPal account listed in the description below. It'll help pay for gas and gear. Remember, if you or anyone you know would like to tell their story, whether it's from Fremont County or somewhere else in Colorado or anywhere else in the world for that matter, please email us at encounters@modernexplorer.me. We would be happy to document your experience. You can remain anonymous if you would prefer. We just want the stories documented. There's something going on.